Okay. Hi, thank you for taking the time. I know you have a busy schedule for sitting down and taking part in this interview. So the first question I have for you is, what's your name?
My name's Navneet Rondeau.
Okay. And what's your date of birth?
February 13th, 1967.
Okay. And where were you born?
I was born in India.
Okay. Where in India?
In Bareilly, UP.
Okay. And how did you make the decision to come to Canada?
I got married. It was an arranged marriage, and that's how I came to Canada.
Okay. And what year was that?
1986.
Okay, 1986. And did you come to Canada through like a visitor's visa or like a study?
I was married and I came here on
Okay.
a spousal, like a permanent landed immigrant.
Okay, so your husband had sponsored you?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you came to Canada, what was like the journey that you took? Do you remember which airline you used?
Japan Airlines.
Okay.
I came through Japan.
Okay.
Spent a night in Tokyo.
Okay.
And then flew into Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
And then took a bus from Vancouver to Golden.
Okay. So did anybody come to the airport to pick you up?
My husband did, yeah.
Okay, so he came to the airport there in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And then you two guys
We
together
traveled,
took a bus to Golden.
Yeah, because it was winter time, so.
Okay. Okay, what month was that you came?
November.
November? So November 1986. Okay. And then when you first arrived in Canada, what was the first memory that you have?
There was lots of snow.
Yeah.
That was and cold. So it was cold and highways were covered with snow.
Yeah. Yeah. What about, did you have any difficulties like when you were exiting the airport? Did you speak the language?
Yes, I did speak the language.
Okay. Okay.
I grew up in India in English schools, so yeah.
Okay.
My dad was in the military, so I went to military school.
Okay. And so the first 5 years of settling and adapting in Canada, how was that for you?
It was hard. I didn't have anyone from my family here.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty young. And I moved here from a family that was very educated to a family that was 50 years behind India, which made it really difficult. I wasn't used to that because my parents are both educated and are very open, and I had a lot of freedom. And when I came here, I felt like I was back in a village that was 50 years behind India.
Yeah, when you arrived here in Golden?
Yeah. And it was more the family, not Golden.
Okay. Okay. But how was it in terms of like adapting to like the community? Like did you make friends really easily or?
Well, I wasn't allowed to make friends.
Okay.
Yeah. I was but my sister-in-laws, I had a couple of them. They were really nice, so I'm close with them.
Okay.
Other than that, no, I was quite restricted.
Okay. Okay. So those were the first 5 years. So what do you remember about life in Golden for the Punjabi community during that time?
When I moved here, I would come to the Gurdwara and there was like lots of people. Like this place was very packed. Lots of nice people. Everyone was quite friendly and welcoming in community. And the town was much smaller back then too, so there weren't so many places and restaurants and all that. Like it's really expanded since I've been here. I wanted to go to school. I was in first year BA when I moved here. I finished my first year bachelor and came here, and then I wanted to get grade 12, which I didn't need to because my education was, I just had to get accreditation. I wanted to work in certain places, but I was restricted. I wanted to go to school, but being in Golden, that was not an option. And being in the family that was not an option. As far as language, I didn't have any problem, just getting used to the climate change. I didn't do any winter sports, so that was hard at the beginning.
Yeah.
I found winters very depressing.
Yeah.
And then as I was on my own and became more free and was able to do different activities, I felt more at home. And now I can't see me living anywhere else but Golden.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So for the Punjabi community, so you said it was a large Punjabi community
There was
here
a very
previously.
large,
About how many families do you think there were?
I would say
here?
about 75 families at that time.
Okay. Okay. And were there any like significant Punjabi or Indian holidays that the community celebrated back then?
Yeah, we had the Baisakhi was celebrated here. Every Sunday was like packed in here.
Yeah.
People had lots of khanpats, or we've had weddings here because everyone lived here. And slowly, as people moved away, and the young people, once they finish their school, have to move away to go to higher education, and then there's no jobs here for Punjabi people or any young people.
Yeah.
So they move out of town and go to big cities where they have jobs, and slowly the parents, once they retired from their jobs, moved to places where their family and kids are.
Yeah.
So it kind of started depleting and and became smaller and smaller. So it's pretty small now.
How was it in Golden in terms of like accessing like resources that the Punjabi community uses? Like, was there like a Punjabi suit store, grocery store,
There was
store
no
to buy mithaias?
No, to buy any Indian stuff, you would have to go to Calgary. It's the closest place. Even now, actually, we do. But grocery stores do keep some stuff that's Indian foods and stuff. But to buy clothing, you would have to go out of town, even now. Back then, people would come through here, though. I know we've had some relatives of ours that sell clothing in Vancouver, and they travel through and bring stuff here. So that I remember. Jewelry, people came through once. So yeah, there've been people traveling through, but nothing that was in Golden.
Okay.
For us. Yeah.
So individuals of Punjabi or Indian descent, they would come from elsewhere to sell their products here? Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. And then how would you know that somebody was here? It would just
They would be announced, and then they would be at a community hall, like they will set up shop, and then all the Punjabi people would know, and just by word of mouth or at the temple it would be announced.
Okay.
Because this is where most people kind of got together.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. And then was there any like Punjabi or Indian sweet shop or anything like that? No.
Not in Golden.
No.
But we made a lot of it. Like all the women, I remember when we would have weddings, we had a whole bunch of ladies who would come and cook everything and make like all kinds of sweets here. Actually, we still sometimes do that. But in the past, they would make everything at the Gurdwara here and for the wedding, and everyone will come and help. So it was a very tight-knit community.
Okay.
Even now, actually, it is. People still come and help. We just have few people to do that now. Yeah,
yeah. Are there any particular activities that Punjabi families would do, like on the weekends or?
Aside from, we got together with people with each other, but as I said, I was in a family that didn't do that, so I didn't have the opportunity. But I know a lot of other families that got together outside the temple and would have dinners together or go out and just be in the picnic or things like that. But I know for the first 10 years I didn't have that.
Okay. And as a Punjabi person, what were your relationships with other members in the community? Was like the Gora or were there any other communities like that that were accepting of you, or did you face any discrimination?
Not so much discrimination, maybe because I spoke the language. But I know when I started working, my first job, I wanted to work in the restaurant and be a waitress. That was my first job. When I went to do that, and the person put me to be a dishwasher. Oh, you start as a dishwasher and then you can be a waitress. And a week later, I still wasn't being a waitress, so I quit that job and went to a different place. So I remember that, being kind of because I was an Indian maybe back then, and not having that opportunity that I could have done. I made better money, but they thought that all the Punjabi, because in the past, women didn't speak English, and they were in the back in the kitchen doing prep cook, dishwashing, cleaning kind of jobs. So I was one of the first ones who didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
And I continued with pursued my different careers.
Okay. Did you encounter anybody in Golden who was, their background was like Aboriginal or First Nations?
That's one nationality we don't have in Golden much of. There's some now, there's a couple of families, but not so much as I know when we moved to Edmonton, there's a lot more natives there.
Okay.
But here, there's not that many families.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you said you had arrived in Vancouver, then you went straight to Golden. Have you lived in terms of like in-country migration patterns? Have you lived anywhere else in Canada or in British Columbia?
Mostly in Golden. We did move to Edmonton for about 2-3 years for the 31 years that I've been here. But Golden is where I've been.
Okay.
Majority of it.
Okay. And what about like other like transnational experiences? After arriving here in Golden, did you ever go back to India?
Oh, I didn't go for 13 years.
Okay, so first time you went was after 13 years?
After 13 years, and same reason, the family I was in was not. Yeah, I didn't have the freedom to do what I wanted to do, even though I worked 2 jobs and made lots of money. I didn't have any of it. No, I went back to India after 13 years to see my family, my parents, my brother and my sisters. Yeah, which was difficult, but since for the last few years, I go every 2 years, 3 years. I'm there more. No.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any other experience about living in Canada that you think helped or challenged your migration process here?
The only thing, I guess, because I didn't have any family,
Yeah.
I didn't know there was help out there
Yeah.
for me in the situation that I was in, which I didn't learn till much later.
Yeah.
Which I obviously wish would have been nice if I knew. So that's one thing. So I think when new Punjabi people come into the community, it would be nice if there were like packages of stuff to tell them that this is what's available for resources in the community. And that's something I guess we do now. It is better now. It is more open, but you have to know language to seek help, right? So that's what the problem is.
Okay. So, did you ever sponsor like anybody to come here?
No, because I wasn't allowed to. And then my father, being in the military, he didn't want to come here. But now I have, since my dad passed away about 3 years ago, my mom has a super visa.
Oh, okay.
She hasn't been here because she chooses not to come.
Yeah.
So I have
Okay.
applied for her, and she has a visa anytime she wants to come.
Okay. Do you have, so did you ever miss India when you were here? Okay.
I still miss India.
Yeah. What did you, is there any particular thing that you
When
did?
I go to India?
No.
What I miss?
Yeah, when you missed India.
I miss the markets, I miss the food,
Yeah.
I miss my family.
Yeah.
So things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you got here, was there anything in particular that you did in order to, so you wouldn't miss India? Like, for example, like some men say, oh, we just got together and played cards, or
Like I said, my life was different. I
Okay.
didn't have those opportunities.
Okay. Do you know of any other places of significance that might be significant to the Punjabi community that, like for example, like buildings or?
In Golden?
Yeah.
No, I think most you've already heard of the old temple site.
Yeah, places like
and
that.
But other than that, I don't think there's anything that's Golden community kind of Sikhs would be connected to. But yeah, and back then when I moved here, you couldn't just phone either back home.
Yeah.
I made it harder
Oh,
because
okay. Yeah.
even to make direct, like even in the families in India, they didn't have phones. I mean, now we all have cell phones and they all have landlines. So first few years were harder because of that, because
Yeah.
you couldn't talk.
Yeah.
You could write a letter, but that's about all.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the hard part, I think. The hardest part for me,
Yeah.
not being able to communicate.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any other significant stories that you want to share about being Punjabi here in Golden?
Well, there's lots of good stories too. I mean, as a Punjabi, I work in the school system. I have been approached. I do interpret, so I work for the courts as well.
Okay.
I do interpreting I work for the government.
Okay.
I have a contract with the BC government, So that's something good that as a Punjabi, you can help and bring in. I know we have had multicultural functions in the past, which have been amazing, and I think there is one happening in September, which after a long time, we used to do them every other year, and that would be Kindi's wife, Lori. She's a white woman, but a teacher. I remember working with her and having those where we had Indian food, Indian dancing, we had functions, which I think I miss because we don't do that much anymore. Food we do, but everything else. So those are some of the things that I really enjoyed as a Punjabi. People have approached and asked for different things that we do, and I've had students I've brought into the temple. There's a class that came every year. They kind of stopped because of these pictures because they find them disturbing
No, okay.
for the kids,
Oh, okay.
grade 3 students. But our committee chose to keep them up because that's our heritage, and so we've had that, and I've been into classes talking about it, Sikhism and being a Punjabi, and so yeah, it's been bittersweet. There's lots of good things.
Okay. If you were like to identify yourself right now, what would you call yourself?
Me?
Like in terms of like nationality?
I'm a Canadian.
Okay. Okay.
I go back home for maybe 2-3 weeks. I mean, I'll always be Indian, right? You can take me out of India, but you can't take India out of me.
Yeah.
I love India, but if someone calls me what I am, I'm a Canadian now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you see your place in Canada and in British Columbia?
I feel very privileged to be here. I'm very lucky to have come and done all the things that I've done after the beginning start that I had here for the first 10 years. The last 20 have been great. So I have to say I'm very lucky, and I'm very happy to be in Canada. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah. Are there any holidays or customs or practices from India that you or your family still practice?
Oh yeah, I love Diwali. That's my favorite time because I know I'm a Sikh, but we grew up on army bases. We lived all over India, so we celebrate all Hindu festivals as well.
Yeah.
But Diwali is one of my favorite. I miss that. Holi, not so much, but Diwali is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we celebrate that every year. I mean, I still do have my candles and all that. And, yeah.
Okay.
It's fun.
Is there anything else you want to add to this interview?
No, I think you've covered basically everything. I'm really happy that this is happening, and there will be something, for our heritage to go to the museum, and I'd come and check it out next time I'm in Victoria for sure.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much for sitting down for this interview.
Sorry, I hope I look